In 1998, Robert Greene published a book called The 48 Laws of Power. Almost immediately, it developed a reputation for being dangerous. Readers reacted with visceral hostility. Reviews labeled it a danger, an outright book of evil, and a manual for abusers. Publicly, we treat the desire for power as a moral failure. Our social code dictates that ambition should be viewed with suspicion. Modern humans prefer to believe we have evolved beyond the primal, manipulative instincts that defined the ancient world. Labeling these observations as villainy allows us to ignore the uncomfortable patterns of behavior that still drive our daily lives. Robert Greene argues that denying the impulse for power creates a specific kind of misery. It leaves an individual vulnerable to those who understand these dynamics. While absolute power is known to corrupt, Malcolm X observed that having no power is even more damaging. Total powerlessness breeds deep insecurity and eventual aggression. The 48 Laws describe the unavoidable mechanics of how human society actually functions. This diagram shows the human brain's architecture, separating our primitive emotional processing center from our rational cognitive center. Our flaw is believing we've transcended this animal nature. The brain processes emotions first. Thoughts are retroactive justifications for feelings originating in the primitive center. We routinely project our own flaws onto others. We identify irrationality and aggression in our rivals while remaining convinced of our own logical consistency. Until we accept that we operate on the same primate instincts as our ancestors, we remain blind to the impulses of the lower self. These animal mechanics are clearly visible in the modern workplace, starting with Law 1, never outshine the master. This portrait of King Louis XIV illustrates the archetype of the insecure master. The law is an observation of emotional intelligence. An employee must navigate the ego and pride of those in authority to survive. Take Law 4, always say less than necessary, describes the practice of active listening and the difficulty of maintaining emotional control over one's speech. Law 15 frequently provokes the strongest moral reaction: crush your enemy totally. This diagram shows a modern monopolistic dynamic. A central corporate node grows by eliminating competitor nodes, an exact real-world manifestation of Law 15. Greene's laws are amoral. They describe the underlying physics of human nature. Ignoring them ensures an individual will eventually become a victim of these systems. Greene's later work, The Laws of Human Nature, shifts focus from external defense to internal mastery. Socrates defined rationality as starting from a position of total ignorance. He rigorously questioned his own assumptions before attempting to judge the world around him. Greene advocates for radical empathy. Admitting to our own deep flaws and irrationality allows us to understand the motivations of the people who frustrate us. This aligns with Marcus Aurelius's view of the interconnected hive. The Stoic perspective holds that recognizing our shared, flawed nature prevents us from demonizing others as caricatures of evil. Studying these dynamics builds a foundation for empathy. Recognizing the universal nature of these impulses makes them easier to navigate in ourselves and others. Reaching this level of awareness requires facing a final obstacle: our society's denial of death. Following a near-fatal stroke, Greene observed that our deep-seated anxiety stems from a refusal to acknowledge the end of our own lives. While modern efforts focus on indefinitely prolonging life, historical practice encouraged looking mortality squarely in the eye to strip away its power. Facing mortality provides a visceral engine for connecting with others. It highlights the fragile and temporary nature of life. Greene's work is a call for self-awareness, accepting the internal monster